the social determinants of community engagement. Today we're going to be exploring this concept of social determinants, which is a very common concept in public health, and it's used to reflect on how public health is an outcome on a combination of social factors such as economic, political, and cultural structures, policies, and also it happens in an historical context. This concept of social determinants is going to be very useful for us when reflecting about community engagement. And we will use the image of an iceberg, which, as you know, it is always more than it appears. And you can ask that to the people traveling in the Titanic, because you can only see 12% on the surface, with 88%, most of it remains hidden under the surface. And the same happens with community engagement. When we organize an event and people attend in less numbers than we were expecting, we a lot of times have explanation, and it's very common to attribute the lack of participation from people in the community to their individual behaviors and choices. We tend to blame people for not coming because they are not interested, or they don't understand how important it is for them, or it's good for them, or that they are fearful, and we reduce a social situation, a complex socio-economic and political situation, to a matter of individual choices. So when asking about barriers to community engagement, we need to look beyond what is over the surface, and what appears as individual behaviors such as fear or lack of interest is connected to policies that create barriers to participation. And let's be frank, the more privilege we have, the more we can forget about existing barriers to participation. If I have a car, I can forget about buses' schedules. If I speak the dominant language, I can forget about having translation and interpretation available in an event, and so on. Under the current policies, we find institutions, structures, and historical processes. So if our community is facing policies that restrict their mobility, whether because there is not enough buses in their neighborhood, or because they are worried about their immigration status, or they are driving around without a driver's license because they are denied the possibility of getting a driver's license, these barriers come because of limitations in the laws, and this is public policy. So work commitments, lack of access to transportation or to childcare are concrete and material obstacles that have more to do with minimum wage policies, immigration policies, and transportation policies than with individual choices to join or not to join our program or event. Economic and political structures can be changed. Our current policies, those that keep the minimum wage law or criminalize undocumented immigrants, were created by concrete people working as part of institutional structures. These structures reflect and reproduce power relationships and agendas at a given time and place. The composition of a city council or a state legislature or the federal Congress has a lot to do with what policies we're facing, and has a direct impact on who can make it to our events. So when inviting people to engage with us, we need to ask, are we as an organization asking community members to join our program and vision, or are we offering to engage with them and become an ally in their journey to survive and live with dignity? Are we inviting people to attend our event, or are we offering to engage on a common process, creating something together? That will have a big impact on who shows up and how they show up. Are we inviting people to an event, a presentation, a presentation about their rights, or a process when we together can fight to improve access to those rights? Our work never happens on a vacuum. It happens within history. The more we are intentional on how we participate in this history, the more effective we can be when inviting people to participate, and the more effective we can be engaging on our community's struggles.